Yo, what's going on, Bears Nation? It's your boy, Brandon Trex. Hi. And you're locked on in another fire episode of Bears on Tracks right here on the Chicago Sports Podcast. We've got big-time news coming out of Hallis Hall. I'm talking about trenches, baby. Offensive line. And joining me to break it all down is my guy, my brother from another mother, the one and only, the real Annie Up.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy? How you doing, man?
How you doing, Brandon? Man, I'm feeling good, man. Always ready to, this is my favorite time of the year, bro. Aside from the season, but right before draft time, so I'm excited. I love the unknown, and I'm ready, man. I'm super ready, man.
All right, well, everybody, get your popcorn. We'll be back right after this.
Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Let's go, everybody. Bears fans, listen up. If you ain't excited about what's cooking on this O-line, you better wake up. Dan Roushar just gave us the blueprint about what could be the biggest leap forward this team has made in years. And it starts with a guy who you guys are going to be like, what? That's right. Braxton Jones. We're about ready to unpack Braxton Jones' goodness or not so goodness. So Annie Up, what's your take on this guy, man? What's your take on Brax?
I'll say this. I'm Braxton Jones is not a bum. I hear a lot of people just trashing the guy. He's no bum, and I'm here to tell you. I've watched film. I just literally it was there were games where I watched just Braxton. I didn't care what Caleb did, didn't care what the rest of the guys did on the line. I just solely watched Braxton. And we were running those stretch plays and those run plays for Swift. He would get out there, put a hat on somebody, like, so he's not a bum. Also, in the same breath, when Caleb is going back and taking those steps, Braxton and that upper body strength or lack thereof was a huge problem, and it's been for years. So I don't care what we do. I do care what we do on the rest of the line, but Braxton not being able to contain some of the more elite guys in the league as far as pass rushing goes, and that anchor, man, that worries me, man. And I think he would be a great backup, but I think we need someone to solidify that side. But I'm going to trust the process, and I'm going to watch what the guys do, the coaches do. But Braxton worries me a little bit, man.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're right about that. But the facts are the facts. And, Dan Roushar, well-known offensive line coach, well-respected. He's been coached other positions also, head coach, offensive line, offensive coordinator. He's done a lot for many, many years and some good teams with Michigan State, the Saints. And I'll tell you what, as soon as he got in the building, Olin Kreutz immediately jumped on XApp and he got excited. And I can't remember the last time, if there was ever a time
Me either, bro.
Got excited about a coach on the offensive line, bro.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree.
And Dan Roushar said this as clear as day. He said, if Braxton Jones were healthy today, he'd be our starting left tackle day one. That's not speculation, folks. That's confidence. That's trust. True. That's a coach planting his flag on a dude he believes can protect Caleb freaking Williams' blind side in year one of Dan Roushar. So, Annie Up, let's talk about facts here. Let's talk about Braxton Jones' size. 6'5", 310 pounds, 31 straight starts when healthy, and he started every game as a rookie. You don't do that unless you've got football IQ, athleticism, and grit. But now listen, Annie, here's the deal, bro. he's actually got a coach. And, you know, when I played offensive line, my offensive lineman, if I was riding up too high and I didn't anchor down, he would push me down on this side, hit this shoulder. I'd automatically knew what he meant, or this shoulder. And he would position me and get me in the right mindset, because as you wear down, as the clock starts to tick and you get, you know, wore out and you're fatigued, maybe it's a hot day, maybe you got your butt handed to you. All of those disciplinary issues, all those lack of fundamentals, all of that development that you're not getting from somebody in the building that's holding you accountable is not there. So to the point of Braxton hasn't had that dude, that's really an injustice for him. And I'm excited to see what he can do. Now, to me, that is not I'm not giving him a, you know, a white glove. Hey man, this is a wrap, you know? This is not a done deal. It's not a stamp of approval. I'm just saying that be excited, or at least be interested and intrigued about what could potentially happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that you make a great point, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, because that's huge. And coaching means a lot in the league. Also, if you got a guy that should be the janitor in the building and he's coaching the O-line, I can see how Caleb got beat up so bad. So I do appreciate that. And you know, these new guys, they come for business, man. And it's not just the talking. If you look at the resumes, like I see a lot of comments on YouTube or whatever. I'm sick of hearing about it. I want to see it. And I mean, I feel that way too. I'm not going to type it. At the same time, these guys have a job to do, and it's to speak to the media. So they have to do that part first before anything, before any pass come on or anything. So the things that I'm hearing from these guys and the resumes that they bring to the table is super, you know, it's super encouraging. So I will that touche on that. And I'm willing, and Braxton's, like I say, I never said Braxton's a bum. I just feel like the guy needs that. He needs to be coached up, and I want that upper body strength to show. He's a unit, man, and like, come on, man, throw your weight around out there. So and protect this and protect the franchise. So yeah, man, I'd love to see it, because I love when the homegrown guys, the Kyler Gordons, the Jalen Johnsons, you know, I love when the guys that we drafted are to be rewarded, you know. And I mean, it's cool going out and getting other guys. That's great, man. But I want the guys that we drafted to shine and get those second contracts and all that stuff, man. That's a great feeling, and I love to see it. I'm a lifetime Bears fan. There's no rooting for another team, man. Like, these are my guys. These are my guys, man. So yeah, man, that's pretty encouraging, man. Having guys who actually know how to coach. So yeah, that's good stuff.
And what does it say to you about having a guy like Thuney, who was over with the Patriots, who, you know, blocked for Tom Brady, took, you know, and then went over to Patrick Mahomes, and now Caleb Williams? Talk about a trifecta. First, you get to block for Brady, then Patrick Mahomes, now Caleb Williams. I mean, listen, a guy to your right side, the left guard, that's right there, also by Dahlman, the center, the conduit that hears everything, that sees everything. He looks and reads and sees what the defense giving him. He talks to Caleb. He's the conduit. He tells everybody from the left guard, right guard, what's going on, and then out to the tackles. I think I see also the offensive line being able to help Braxton, which he's never had also. You know what I'm saying?
Great point, man. Great point. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Thuney becomes Caleb's best friend outside of football. Like, seriously, like, we're going to see them on a Magnificent Mile at steakhouses and stuff. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, man, because again, his reputation precedes him, and that was the most exciting. Dahlman, I love Dahlman. I don't want to overshadow that, but to have a Super Bowl winning offensive lineman that's been around, and I don't care about age and all that stuff. That guy plays at a high level, man, and he's there to teach, man. He's there to preach and teach, and I cannot wait to see. So I can't wait for training camp, but that's huge, man. And for that interior, because like you say, I just heard this earlier today. Everybody talks about edge rushers and all that stuff, and edge rushers, rightfully so. But when you're getting pressure up that gut, like so many times last year that I know you watched too, that's a little more effective than just coming off the edge. You can always step up in the pocket and get rid of that thing. But if they're coming straight in your face and for your face mask, bro, you don't stand a chance. So that right there I was so excited, man. Like, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I had every notification on. I usually turn them off. But I had every notification on, bro, and to see that, it made me super happy, and I knew that these guys were on business this year. So let's do it.
And you know what? It's disrespectful too when they can come up and they gave up 4.5 yards a carry. That's a little over 2 carries, and you got your first down.
Yeah.
I mean, that is ridiculous. And that is not
sure.
the Chicago Bear way. That is not the
No,
Chicago Bear way. That's
Nah.
not how you said earlier. We ain't standing on business when we do that. But this year is different. They are definitely taking on both sides of the ball, both sides of the trenches. They're taking very seriously. So that's refreshing. Now, honestly, I was a little shocked at how many people, and I think it took us to get to this point to understand the linebackers can't cook, the defensive backs can't cook, the receivers, the running backs, the QB cannot cook unless you got the dang freaking trenches resolved.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. If you think about it, that's the best teams in the league, man. The best teams in the league. You know, if they got shaky right tackles or left tackles, at least the interior of that line is solid, or vice versa. But you gotta, and on both sides of the ball, you know, you got the Eagles, who's always good, whether they make the Super Bowl run or not. They're always in the hunt for something.
Yeah.
You got they Kansas City O-line a little hurting right now, so I don't want to use them. But you know, the best teams usually have a pretty strong line. And the crazy part is this, bro. Swift. Now I know he gets, you know, he doesn't get all the gritty yards that everybody, you know, coaches recognize that they put it on the forefront, and I'm glad they're holding people accountable. But for what we had last year, bro, and I think he had like 1,300 yards from scrimmage. So just imagine with competent coaching, a stronger line in front of him. Like, and it doesn't even have to be Swift, but I'm just using him for example. Like, bro, like the sky's the limit in my opinion. You know, I think Roschon will be better because he's not getting any love, and I still think Roschon is a solid, strong back, but I think he'll be better. Like, I just really feel like they attacked it the right way this time, because last year they made a splash and got some guys. We were like, oh yeah, you know, we're Bears fans. We like the eye pop, the wow guys and all of that. But they went out and did it the right way, in my opinion, and I want them to keep doing it. I cannot wait for next week, bro. Like I'm usually more relaxed around the weekend. Like Friday nights is I'm relaxed now, but I'm just like chilling, and I want to enjoy every second of the Friday because I don't want to get back to the work week so fast. But bro, this weekend could go ahead about its business, bro. Like I want next week to be here now, man. Like seriously,
like Christmas, like a kid, you know.
Yes, bro, absolutely like Christmas.
Ma, how about tonight? Can I open up just one? We
just one
first round. Just hey, come on, let's get that first round over with, you know,
man. So yeah, I'm super excited, man. And again, the guys seem to be. I watched a few interviews today and the press conferences, and those guys they're Jalen, even Caleb, like they're like, yeah, all of the talking is good and it sounds good and we might look good on paper and all this, but those guys know better. They know better. So it's the tone is a little different, especially if you're a Bears fan, not just somebody who watch a couple clips here and there.
Yeah. Oh no, and we've had some alumni on here, and they stand on it, and they'll tell you what's what, you know, straight up, and we'll have you on with them and some good
Can't
guys.
wait, man.
Jerry Azuma, a couple other guys, but
that's awesome.
And they're really good at keeping it, you know, 100. They're not gonna sugarcoat it or anything like that. So it's a lot of fun. And but hey, listen, you know, I look at a guy and he's sneaky, and you know, Darius and D Nice talked about them. D Nice and Bishop talked about them today on the show, you know, on a record. They were talking about Eric Bieniemy and how sneaky of a pickup they got in him, because he's not just going to be a running back coach. He's going to be helping the offensive line. He's going to be, you know, in cahoots and in conversations and holding people accountable all the way across the building. And I see that with all the you know, and I'm not gonna try to dive too deep into this, but because this is for another show for another time. But Antoine Randall, come on, man. that's a show all in of itself. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm scared. Listen. Antoine Randall is. I feel like, and I mean, it's a good problem to have, but I feel like Antoine Randall is going to be one of those guys who's going to come in, make his mark immediately, and do well. And those guys are going to be sniffing around our coaching staff, man. I know he's going to be one of those guys. And then he's a comedian on top of that. He's a homegrown guy, Super Bowl winning, great coach, holds you accountable, and then a guy will make you laugh too. So I really love Randall right now, man.
And he was a receiver, a quarterback at IU. He's a local legend from Chicago, and he is so happy to be here.
He is, you can tell.
Have him, and he's going to hold guys accountable. And when he does elevate, what you just said, he will. He's going to make sure that the guy behind him is ready to go.
Great follow up. That's awesome, man. And I agree, man, because they're coming for Randall, bro. They're coming for him.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait, man. Hey, you know what? And they're gonna see Eric Bieniemy, coach again, stand on his business, and it won't be long because, like you already saw, Andy Reid was like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but this dude is like,
he did say that.
A head coach, like he can do so much, like you guys just don't even know. So absolutely. I'm excited that he's there. Iron sharpens iron. Poles is not worried about somebody taking his job. If he was, he wouldn't have hired all these mofos that are ready.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Everywhere. Same thing with, Ben Johnson. He ain't going to go out and get Dennis Allen and all these other dudes. Like these guys are all legit, like freaking alphas, man. And they are all hold people accountable coaches, and it is long overdue.
The antithesis of our last coaching regime. Absolutely. I agree, man. I agree, man. Hey, look, man, I had a nightmare, bro. I kid you not. Right after the Fail Mary game, right?
I like that. Fail Mary.
I had it. Look, so I had drank my beers, and I left the bar a little early because I ain't gonna lie, I thought the game was over. So anywho, I didn't sleep well that night, but when I finally did go to sleep, bro, I had this weird dream about flus, like, and then I don't want to. This is the last thing you'll ever hear. Everyone, this is the last time I'll ever bring flus up. I wish him luck, but I like he just did not invite the competition. I'm a competitor, bro. I want guys who are good to be around me. So if I beat you, I know I'm decent, as opposed to guys who are bums and I just dog you out every time just to boost my ego, and then I go and play some real competition, I get destroyed. So Flus, just like with Waldron, for instance, bro, he didn't have anyone on his staff that could threaten his job, bro. And it just jumped out at me in this dream, and I was like, bro, like, and then what you just said kind of triggered me because it was like he went out and got Dennis Allen, Johnson. Just went out and got Dennis Allen, bro. Like, I mean, this guy has been a coach, what, once or twice? Was he a head coach twice? Or once or twice? I think it was twice. And you got Bieniemy, you got Randall. I don't know a lot about the assistant head. No, he's not the assistant head coach. What's it? Declan Doyle. I don't know a lot about Declan Doyle, so I don't mention him. But all of those other coaches I'm pretty familiar with. He went and got guys who are legitimate coaches, bro. So I think Flus was a little insecure about that, man. Like he was like, let me just come on, Waldron. Yeah, we'll do Waldron. Yeah, Waldron's good. Come on, bring Waldron over here. Yeah. And then he got fired mid-season, so it was like, it feels good. It's refreshing, man, to have a guy who's secure enough, who's smart enough, who's focused enough to go out and get the best guys for the job, bring them over into this story organization that's already got a bunch of pieces already. And a top 10 pick and get this ball rolling, man. So that right there, that meant more to me than what meets the eye, because again, I just didn't see that with Flus, man. Alan Williams, whatever. Like all of these guys, man, who are these dudes, man? Not even finishing seasons, bro. So again, that's my last trip down memory lane. I just had to get that off publicly to rid my system of the toxicities. And I'm done with that. But yeah, man, it felt good to see that he was going out getting top-notch coaches. That says a lot about Ben.
No, man, this is your premiere. This is your first show, and we're excited to have you on. So
I'm glad to be here.
you gotta put it all out there, man.
Yeah,
You
true
gotta.
story. True
Yep.
story. I keep a lot of this stuff bottled in. I don't want my wife
No,
to like go
no,
tell me to sleep on the couch because I'm
no.
sleeping, mumbling Floof's name and all that. So I got to get it out, bro. But
Oh
thank
man.
you, man.
Hey, you got to put it on wax so everybody knows what you stand on. Hey, listen, this guy, he fits this system.
Yeah.
Agile, long, quick feet. He thrives in space. If Braxton comes back 100%, that left side is locked down. But that's not the only storyline, man. We've got another guy in the building that Roushar dropped and he talked about. That's right, Kiran Amegadjie. And I nailed that. I
You
stick
did
the
nail
landing. That's a name, dude. That's a bar right there. And listen, you don't want to sleep on this kid. His rookie year, yeah, I mean, it was tough. No OTAs, no camp, injury setbacks, no freaking real, offensive line coach. Learning from Braxton, who's still trying to learn some things of himself,
Absolutely.
But Roushar said to it himself, it's not fair to evaluate what he was last year and what he did.
I agree.
I agree. What does this mean? That the potential is still untapped. We still have untapped potential by 2 left tackles that might surprise the heck out of us. Look at Kiran's immeasurables. 6'5", a little bit heavier, 326, arms like a forklift, guys. Strength for days, man, and ass for weeks. He dominated Yale. He's a very smart individual if he went to Yale. This guy's raw, but the upside, man, if he develops, you're looking at a starter level tackle who can be nasty in the run game and a wall in pass pro, man.
For sure. That's a good point. That's a great point. And I'm actually glad that he got tossed in a fire like that because I'm a learn. I have to go through it to learn. You can tell me 100 times and I might pick up a couple little tidbits here and there, but I have to actually be in the fire to learn. So I get that. So I'm not mad at that at all. It was the worst situation darn near that he could have been placed in. So you got that under your belt. You see how fast these guys move. You see how strong they are. Even the little guys on the edge, the lean guys, the 245-pound edges are strong in the league. So, I'm glad that he was able to, soak up some of that catch some of those live shells. And now you got a real coach and a team that knows what they're doing, or a coaching staff that knows what they're doing in there. So that's the best of both worlds. You got tossed in the fire and you saw how bad it could be. Now flip the page and you got these guys who know what they're doing and got years of experience and multiple pro bowlers. And you got him in the building with you all this time. So, and he's a young guy. This will be his second year. So that would be wonderful, man. And whether Braxton flourishes or not, which I'm going to say he's going to have that guy and waiting in the wings with this coaching staff, that makes me smile, man, for real.
Yeah, and you know what? If he gets the stamp of approval and you've got Roushar there, you've got Ben Johnson, who, here's the deal. He says to the receivers, and you already know where I'm going with this. He said to the receivers, no block, no rock. What does that mean for an offensive lineman? You don't get the rock when you're an offensive lineman. Like, you got to have something for them off it. Like, no block, no job. Like, I mean, you can't say no block, no rock to an offensive lineman.
Absolutely not.
There's definitely some consequences there. And he's
no doubt.
Dude, I'm excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good for sure.
I will say this. I'm not saying that we should not go out and draft a left tackle. Trax will not say that. I will not say that. I'm pretty sure you will either. If they feel like we need to go out and get some depth and maybe get a swing guy, a guy that like Will Campbell that could play guard and tackle, a dude like that, whatever. I mean, hey, why not? If they see, I'll be good with it. But so, what's your take on that? How do you feel? Who do you want in the first round, bro?
Oh man, if you ask today, I'll give you an answer, and tomorrow, if I just talk to you, it would probably be a different answer. But I'll just say I have PTSD so bad. It's so terrible, bro, and it's because of the O-line mostly. But again, man, you struck it on the head, bro. You hit the nail on the head, bro. We had a freaking electrician as our O-line coach. and that did those guys no justice. So we would have never saw the best out of those guys because of Morgan, man. He was kicking back, drinking beers with those guys when they were supposed to be studying film and stuff. So anywho, I said all that to say I want to go trenches. I want to go trenches bad, but at the same time tomorrow or maybe even right now, no, I want an explosive running back, man. I want a running back who can block out of the backfield, who can catch. I want a guy who can hit the holes and get the short yardage. Ah, oh man,
You want a running back. Well, you know what? It's funny that you say that because a man that just entered the building, Mr. D Nice, he has said for a while he's been pounding the drums. He's been pounding the tables. He's been pounding his chest. Anything he can get his big old hands on, he's been pounding for a running back. Now, I'll not say that that's the only qualifying position, but he has brought that up and he wouldn't be mad at it. How you doing, D Nice? D Nice?
Oh, it's all good, man. How y'all
D
doing?
Nice, what's up, big dog?
What's good, homie?
Chilling, man. Talking to these
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah, we
Welcome,
got.
welcome
Thank you,
on.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, and D Nice knows this is your first time on as premiere. You know, this is your premiere, and we're excited to have you. And I talked to him
Thanks, bro.
about it earlier, and I was showing him your page and some of your some of your videos, man.
My music, yeah, that's my
Yeah,
passion, bro.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
buddy.
You got dope visuals, man.
Thank
Nice
you, man. I
sound.
appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that,
Uh,
man. It's been many long nights in the studio, man. If I'm not doing Bears or at work or with the family, I'm probably in that studio cooking up, man.
hey, don't stop. Don't stop.
Thank you, brother. I won't, man, for
For
sure.
sure. For sure. For
So
sure.
so yeah, we were just talking obviously about Braxton Jones and all of
Hmm.
that, and basically what Roushar was saying and all of that. And then I just asked, Annie up. I said, Annie up, who do you want in the first round? He said he would really like a running back. And I told him, that you were speaking on that for a while, and I'm pretty sure that you still wouldn't mind one. It wouldn't hurt your feelings. So
Right.
what's your take on all that?
Yeah, man. I've been pounding the table for a long time. Like kind of like since season end that, Genty is the guy that I want.
Yeah.
I'll listen. I understand that he may go early, but
Hmm.
I'm never with the notion of saying what you can't do to improve your team, regardless of the round. So
Gotcha.
when people saying, "Oh, you can't draft a running back in the first round," it's absolute garbage, man.
Yeah, that is garbage. That's trash.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I'm saying. It's a lot of regurgitation of the media, man. Because
Hmm.
Mel Kiper started that trash, man.
Hmm.
You draft what's best for your team. You know what
Facts.
I'm saying? Imagine the Cowboys not drafting Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And Ezekiel Elliott took a team that picked third in the draft. He carried them to like a 14, 15 win season, and the
Yeah.
following season, his rookie year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
running backs make a difference.
They
You
do. A
know,
huge.
great ones make a huge difference. You know what I'm saying?
Huge.
Now, we're not talking about championships because you can have great everything and still don't win.
Yeah.
As Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills. You
Facts.
know,
Good comparison.
like you can have great everything and don't win. But for this team with this young quarterback, and they understand that the line needs work. You know what I'm saying? They did the work this offseason, but they may need some more work because
Hmm.
Braxton is an uncertainty because he got this ankle injury. But you know, you can draft his replacement or whoever this person may be, in the second round. But that's
Yeah.
only if Genty is available. You
Only
know,
if you.
that's
Yeah.
but if he's not, then draft Kelvin Banks.
Calvin Banks. And we just talked about Calvin Banks
Yeah,
earlier too, bro. I like
yeah.
Calvin
Listen,
Banks a lot.
Kelvin Banks has been the consensus best left tackle in college football for the last maybe 2, possibly 3 years. Okay,
Mhm. For sure too, though.
he's been for sure too. He's been the consensus. You look at these preseason polls of who's the best where Kelvin Banks is number one at left tackle.
Mhm.
Now you can say, hey, Will Campbell or whatever. If he's available and Banks is available, I take Banks over Campbell. That's just me. But you know
Mhm.
what I didn't like? Two things I didn't like.
What's that?
I didn't like the fact that say, Kelvin Banks is a guard. How is he a guard? He's been playing left tackle. He's been the best left tackle. And then they say,
Dominating that
well,
left tackle. That's crazy.
right. Then they say, well, Armand Membu is the best tackle in the draft. Man,
Nah,
y'all crazy.
nah.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy, man. But listen. At this time of the year, people gonna say a whole lot of stuff. We won't know the truth until they get on the grass.
Hey, D Nice, just a little switching gears, just a tiny bit. I got a little. How do you feel about Trey Henderson, bro?
Uh, I think he's a good back when he got daylight. I don't think
That's a
he's I don't think he has very good vision
mm,
as a runner. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? But when he got daylight, he can hit the hole and he can go. You know what
mm.
I'm saying? And I also think that he's a bigger threat in the passing game than Ohio State allowed him to be.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? But he's a
Hmm.
good back. But like I said, he's a see hole, hit hole, go. But he's
Yeah.
not a creator. You know what I mean?
Mm,
He's not
mm,
a guy that makes people miss a whole lot.
yeah.
In
Yeah.
my personal opinion, I'm just
Nah,
going
nah. That's
by
why
what I
I
see.
asked, bro. That's why I asked.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
That's what I think. But if he's maybe number 4 or 5 on my list,
Okay. That's okay. That,
depending on the day. But
that we just talked about today too.
yeah, it's a listen after Genty, then there's the rest. You know what I mean? I have a great um I have a great deal of admiration for Amari Hampton as
I do
well.
too. I like him
I
a
think
lot.
he's number 2,
Mhm.
but Genty's number 1. Then there's a bit of a drop off. Then you got Hampton, but after Hampton, I think is a huge drop off. I just honestly believe that
Mhm.
based
It
on
could
and
go
then
either way.
Junk.
After it could go either way after them for sure.
I take Junk is at 3,
I
but
like Justice a lot.
after that, you know, Caleb,
Caleb.
he's solid. I like him. And then, like I said, after that, you put anybody there.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I'm
can
saying?
for
Like I
sure.
said,
Absolutely.
depending on the day.
For sure.
Depending on
I
the
just
day. But if we
I,
have to settle for someone like him, we just got to make sure we right up front.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
they say, well, you could put anybody back there. You could pick any one of these backs in this draft. That's not necessarily true because some of these guys, unfortunately, gonna come with injury history.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these guys gonna have fundulitis.
Yep.
Some of these guys, that game just not gonna translate. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
a
how
good
it
point.
is. It's not talking bad or talking down on none of these guys, but this is the fact of the matter. We
The
see it
fact of the
every
matter.
year.
Yep.
Well, and that's where a lot of people get it twisted because like, you hear the media and there's something trending and somebody says and they latch onto it and they want to hear it and that's what they go with. They
Hmm.
forget that whoever we draft, that's just potential. They might not even be a Braxton Jones who's in the top 20 for the tackle position.
Yeah, true
On
story.
on Marquee Network, it was said today, without the proper coaching, um, without the proper coaching of a proper offensive line coach, without a proper head coach, without an
Mhm.
proper offensive coordinator, with a guy that doesn't have his 6 at left guard, who's a perennial Pro Bowl, perennial Super Bowler at guard. And I get the average people don't understand how important it is to have continuity on the offensive line.
Right.
Dan Roushar said today on Marquee Sports Network that if he were healthy today, Braxton Jones would be the starter. And a lot of people have a problem with that because we're going into the draft. But
Right.
all of those guys in the draft are only potential. They
Only
may not
potential.
ever have potential they might have potential to be in the NFL, but once you're in the NFL, it's what you know how to do with it. And I think with adversity and everything that Braxton has been, listen, I think he's done a pretty decent job. Okay.
He has done a decent job.
I'm not saying, and this is exactly what Dan Roushar said right here in Marquee. You can look it up, guys. You can look it up. It says that he's not saying that he's a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but he's still got a lot of work to do. But as if he was healthy today, he'd be a day one starter. You
And I
know,
don't see nothing wrong with that. I
I don't
mean,
either.
is the Anthony Munoz? No. But
Well, Was
But
Anthony Munoz in this situation, and was Anthony Munoz in his fourth, fifth year in the NFL? No.
I mean, but does he have to be?
No.
Listen, we just watch since everybody wants to call out the Philadelphia Eagles and make them the poster child just because they won a Super Bowl against a team that came out, unprepared.
Yeah.
But that's another subject for another day. You
Yeah.
want to name Philadelphia as that's the staple in this copycat league.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, Philadelphia has a undrafted or seventh round left tackle.
Mm.
Okay,
Seventh round.
I believe he was undrafted.
So was the left tackle that protected Drew Brees' blindside for years, who was a Pro Bowler. He was a seventh rounder also.
And Roushar was his coach, wasn't he?
Right,
Yes.
Bushrod, right? Is that Jermaine Bushrod? Yeah.
Yeah, Bush. Yep.
Let's go, Genty. Give me Genty. I don't want to O-lineman.
You're speaking D Nice's love language. You guys are dude. You guys set me up. This is a prank, isn't
it? I mean,
my fault, D Nice.
Listen, man. I mean, you can get if you have great coaching. Bad coaching makes everything look bad. In certain aspects, you can overcome bad coaching. But it's not very normal. You know how great your players have to be to overcome bad coaching. And the Bears had bad coaching in a whole lot of areas
across the board,
including the head coach.
And we're talking about a sport where you have 53 in the damn building, and you also have those COVID players, and you have the what do you call it, the practice players, and all that kind of stuff. So there is a lot to overcome when you've got bad coaches at every level, bro. Every level.
Yeah, like bad coach. Listen, coaching and coaches set the culture. Okay,
yes,
you know what I'm saying. If it's bad, that means your culture gonna be bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
to be a player, you run through so many levels of emotion. You know what I'm saying? You can't. The coach is supposed to be the person that stabilizes the group.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the Bears suffered from the offensive line suffered from terrible coaching for years.
For years. I told him he was a janitor, D Nice. He was sitting back drinking brews when they were supposed to be watching film, bro.
Yeah. And I don't know. And you can tell because too many of our offensive linemen were on the ground.
Too many, man.
If you ask anybody, if an offensive lineman is on the ground, it has more to do about the technique than the strength or the power of the player. It's about technique. And if the offensive lineman has bad technique, that means it's been coached wrong.
Right.
So
I agree. And here's the other thing too. You allow it to happen week in and week out, and you don't make those adjustments in game. You need to make those adjustments in game. You don't let bad behavior and bad technique and all those things happen throughout the whole game and be like, hey, you know what? Let's talk about it after the press conference, after everybody showers and soaks. And then maybe Monday, Tuesday, we'll roll out and start, get on the comfy couch and talk it out, kumbaya. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's too late then.
Let's stand on it right now. Let's get in your face. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable right now. Let's have it out and take care of it right now in this very moment. And then we can get over it. And then we'll be all good. I feel like they built too many walls and not enough bridges in Chicago last year.
Oh, man. Wow. That's a good little.
Yeah. And based off the results, it's hard to argue. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to argue that point based off the results. You're absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
So what about this is switching gears just a little bit. I felt like excuse me, after my boy Brisker went down, the defense lost a little bit of soul, man, and that dude he's gonna sacrifice his body at all costs. So I kind of want to. I mean, of course, I won't, not with the 10th pick or not even in the first round, but I think we need to attack that safety position as well, man. Like Brisker is a huge part of that team, and he sets the tone out there. He will sacrifice it all, bro, and be gone for the rest of the season. And once that dude went down, the D just fell off a slope, man.
Yeah, cause Brisker played with a lot of fire and a lot of
A
passion,
lot, yeah,
and
for sure.
and and see, that's another thing that's missing from this ball club. More, but as far as Brisker, the football player, he needs to come in and become more of a presence, not with his voice, but with his play. Because before last season, like the way he started last season before his injury, it showed that his game had improved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he needs to come in here and be the guy, that the Pro Bowl type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Byard, he's a little long in the tooth, and I think his Pro Bowl years might be, beyond, might be over with. And addressing the safety, maybe in the second or third
Yeah,
round, it
yeah,
Yeah.
has to. It
Well,
has
and
to
yeah.
happen.
you and I, we just touched on this with Bishop the other night, right? We just
Mhm.
spoke on this, and we talked about, and you and I were just talking about this um a little bit ago, Annie, up in that, we've got Dennis Allen in the building, and one of the things that he likes to do is he likes to do what Ben Johnson does, and that is basically do the same thing but make it look different.
Look different.
So he's going to disguise things. He's going to make a cover 4 look like a cover 1. He's going to, and those are the two best defenses that start off in man, but also can work. So cover 4, you can, that's a great run defense, but you start off in man, and then you can work your way into quarters into zone. So the good thing about that is he's already said that he's going to take Brisker and put him at defensive back. He's going to swap him out at safety and all that. And the same thing we were talking about, Gordon. He's going to put him at defensive back outside, and he's going to put him at
Yeah,
safety and all that. Bring
yeah,
him down in the box, cover, an X receiver, bring him down in a box as a safety. So whereas you're going to be looking at that, and when they go up tempo, they're going to be ready for it. And that's what I love about what Dennis Allen does. Now, back to D Nice's point, when these type of creative concepts happen, and you get to work outside of the box, outside of structure, even though there is structure, you get to do some different things. And as a veteran, these things kind of excite you. They're like challenges. You're pushing people outside of their comfort zone. I
yeah.
think a guy like Brisker is going to enjoy this. If you guys care to touch on that, I'm excited to see what happens inside of this, structure, but where things are shape shifting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's gonna be Dennis Allen's gonna be he's a very creative mind when it comes down to designing blitzes
Love it.
and putting guys in position to be successful.
Yeah.
Now, um the safeties and the secondary position is one thing, but everything is gonna be predicated on the pressure we get up front. Now, his staple is
I like that.
his th- always having his three takes. Like, okay, let me say this. A lot of us want two bookend defensive ends, but then in Dennis Allen's history, he's never really had that. He's had one defensive end that gets the majority of the sacks, and he also has a three technique that has a high sack total as well. That's where he wants the majority of his pressure to come up the middle.
And those guys are interchangeable too. D
Yep.
Nice. He'll have a guy that
Dio.
plays the 1 and the 3. Yep.
hmm
Dio. Yep. Dio. Exactly.
And he also brings aggression up the middle with his linebackers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, this is going to be a very exciting thing to watch, man. Based off the players that we have, because I think Tremaine Edmonds is going to be a lot of people that's going to apologize for him. Now he didn't play well in this cover 2 system
No.
because it
Well,
wasn't aggressive enough. It wasn't really his style.
no,
Yeah,
and
just
that
But
sitting back.
yeah,
and
that's sitting back. That's not who he is.
and that's kind of what I like. It's a cover 2, and we're going to get into this. D Nice and I are going to do some chalk talk. it is a cover 2, but it's a Tampa 2. And there's a little bit difference there into where you are going to see that where you can get burned in the middle, where you're going to have a different type of coverage responsibility within that zone. And it's very, very helpful. And that's what I like about it. And he's going to have his will guy, and it's going to be a very athletic, lengthy guy with speed, almost like a hybrid, if you will, safety / defensive back, but more a little bit bigger in a linebacker. Because if you look at that will linebacker, he puts them to work, man. In that Tampa 2 and that 4-3 defense, he puts them to work, and you will swear that guy's not a linebacker. It's going to be exciting, man. I'm an offensive guy, but I also like to see the other side of the ball. And traditionally, Bears, that's what excites us is defense,
See, and with the style of defense, Eberflus, Tony Dungy, and Lovie Smith, they in that rendition of the defense, if you notice, the middle linebackers were former safeties.
Yes.
Derek Brooks, former safety.
Boom.
Brian Urlacher, former safety.
That's a bar.
So their coverage, they were coverage guys first. You know what I mean? Tremaine came from Virginia Tech. A team that's, aggressive. They had ran aggressive form of D. That's what Tremaine was in Buffalo. That ran an aggressive form of defense. When you run that pass, that defense that sit backs and wait on a quarterback to make mistakes, you have to have guys that's strong in coverage. And that's wasn't Tremaine's strong suit. Just to sit back and wait on the ball, wait on the quarterback to make a mistake, and plus we wasn't getting enough pressure up the middle,
Right, that's a good
consistently
point.
for that to happen.
And both you guys have been athletes, and you know what it's like to have a healthy in the building, like basically, competition. It's a healthy competition within the ranks. And listen, you've got Braxton Jones and Kiran pushing and battling for depth. Roushar leading the charge, and all this to protect the future of the franchise and Caleb Williams. This is a great problem to have, man. Bears fans, this is a start of something big. I feel I'm excited, and I would not say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard a little bit of whispers. Take it for what it's worth. It's probably just conjecture. It's probably just a rumor, but there are talks of the left tackle out of Texas and Kelvin Banks Jr. that the Bears have got their eyes set on him. I don't know if that's a little too rich with the 10th pick, if we trade back and get him later, but I'm not mad at it if they go out and get that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, not at all, because, all right, Braxton Jones is coming into his will be a contract year for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So saving $20 million if you find a guy that can replace him.
Right, yeah. So, like, if you really think about it, regardless of how Braxton plays,
yeah,
are we willing to pay him $20 million based off of one great year?
Well, let me tell you this, D-Nice. I will tell you this. If Dan stands on it and Ben stands on it and everybody else, and you see a transformation like no other, and he's really taking care of that left side and he gets it, then yes, absolutely. And guess what? I'm not also saying, I don't want you guys to get it twisted. I believe in paying people, just like, TJ Edwards. We just had a show on him.
Love that.
Isn't that nice? They rewarded somebody that is a grinder, a hard worker, and you go look at him and Tremaine, and clearly he has outperformed Tremaine, and Tremaine got paid way more. They're still getting a discount with, TJ Edwards with that extra extension, and now he gets to play loosely. We had Doug Plank on here, and we were talking to him about this, how you get to play loosely, and, the pressure's off. You can take care of things. You're there. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Focus. I believe if he's that dude, not saying he is, okay? Please don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying if he's that dude, and what D-Nice said, if we find out he's that dude this year, then yeah, I'm okay with paying $20 million. I'm okay with that.
He said,
Now
he said,
see, I would have to push back a little bit only because the left tackle position is one of those positions that pays very handsomely.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You know,
very well.
so if we was to draft his replacement,
Yeah,
Mhm.
say Genty's not there, and we draft Kelvin at 10.
you're resetting him for another 5 years. You don't have
We're
to worry about
resetting it
between them.
another 5 years, and I think Kelvin Banks in a first year starting can be just as good as a Braxton Jones
At his ceiling.
at his ceiling.
And you see, or
Kevin
That's
Jones'
not.
floor, Kelvin Banks' floor can be Braxton Jones' ceiling.
right.
You see what I'm
Hey,
saying?
I'm with you. So what are we doing? Are we training up Kiran to take over at left guard? Is that what's going on? And he's just a backup swing guy until he gets it right? Is that? I mean, hey, we're again, that's a good problem to have because this
Yeah,
is an offensive line, and
because
these are
guys get hurt, man.
committee.
Guys, especially. So like we said, bro. It was good for Karan to get those live rounds. He saw how crazy he could get in that league. He made his mistakes. He gonna make more mistakes in the future. So buckle down. But now you got a real legitimate coach in here, and then we go out and get a big dog in a draft, and we still got Braxton. So for a year, so Braxton, he's gonna want to put some great film, some tape out. So go crazy, man. Do your thing,
Right.
but I believe we reset that thing, go trenches, and then after that, I honestly don't think Genty gonna be there, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It would be great to have a dynamic back like that. I don't think he's gonna be there. Boom,
Well,
we go, go for it.
well, I
We
will
go,
tell you this.
huh?
I will tell you this. If you go out and you do a mock draft live and you put Hampton at 10, you will get the boo berries and they will give you an F if you pick Hampton at 10. Because
Yeah,
that's what
Hampton's
happened
not
the other
10.
day with our boys on Tuesday when we had Michael. He was in the building and he did it with Uncle Cliff. He got the boo berries from everybody in the chat.
Yeah,
And he got an F for picking Hampton at 10, man.
yeah.
So
Can't go 10 with Hampton, man. Can't go
Nah,
Hampton.
not him.
Can't do that. But I'm gonna tell you another thing that irks
I
me.
like him.
Well, another thing that irks me is the tight end talk.
Oh,
Tyler
Taiwan.
Warren. Tyler Warren is a good player. He's tough,
Yeah.
but he's not. I don't think he's the best tight end in this draft. I just don't.
Oh,
Some people
who
are
you think the
saying
best tight end in the
I
draft,
don't
bro?
think so.
Loveland is better. I'm hearing that today and the day
Listen,
before over in Michigan that he's actually could be potentially better.
and it's hard for me not to agree with him.
Mm.
I like Fanny
But
too. But see, they're saying, well, um, they talk about Ty Warren as if he's the guy from Georgia, that the Raiders drafted.
oh,
You know, what's his name?
Not Bowen, not Bowers.
Bowers. He's not Brock Bowers. He's not even the tight end. He's not even the tight end from Detroit.
So
He's not.
Is he better than what we have right now? Just a quick question.
He may be tougher in some spots, but I'll take Komet over him.
Guys,
Okay.
we got a tough take in the chat. I mean, we'll take it on both sides. We've got no problem. Thank you guys once again in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Top 10. Run game, no, absolutely. He is top 10 in the run game. I said that earlier, I believe. But
Yeah,
what
you
about
did.
the pass game? You can't run it every down, bro. And I'm not
Right.
whatever, but come on, bro. Like,
Every
Like-
day must have not showed up early every day because he wasn't on time because you did say that. But hey, let's play this out anyways. Are
Okay,
you
I'm
guys
not-
aware? Are you guys aware that Braxton Jones is rated as a top 22 tackle out of 64 plus? Yeah, we've said that on the show before. You guys have no idea of what you're hey man, thank you for showing up and showing out. Thank you for the view. Please subscribe. He's probably top 10 in the run game. And we've said that before too. He's really good. Matter of fact, there was one of my favorite blocks last year where Braxton just cleared that whole left side and
versus
freaking
the Vikings, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Swift,
And
yep.
And dude, I'm telling you right now, this is exactly what you're talking about, what we have in Swift. And when he sees that, and I'm telling you right now, that's what Eric Bieniemy is going to unlock in Swift. You guys are going to see, as long as he sticks around, you're going to see a different side in Swift that we haven't seen, that Swift hasn't seen. It's going to be great, man. I'm telling you right now. So,
Yeah, listen, Braxton has some guys next to him now. Some vested veterans.
oh yeah,
Some guys with some championship pedigree. I think that can make him a better player at least for 1 year. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Now I can't speak on his future because health has a lot to say about that. And
right.
the last few years he's been hit with the injury bug. Let's face it. But with better guys around, because when you play the tackle position, your interior has to be solid in order for you to do your job effectively too.
And that's what I'm
Because
saying with what Cocaine Bear's saying. He's bringing up that Dio and Sweat combined for 8.5 sacks last year. That's your projected starting defensive ends. You have to
Sweat was
solidify
hurt.
that interior.
yeah, I mean, but see, like I said, Dennis Allen has never had two guys that had double digit sacks. He just doesn't coach it like that, you know?
No, it's by
You know?
committee, and there's nothing wrong with that. If everybody
Yeah.
puts out the same numbers and the same results, what's wrong with that? You want a one guy that's wore out that gets like 20 something sacks. I guarantee you the following year, it won't be long before he's on IR. Is that what you
Yeah.
want?
Nah.
You know?
Like Dennis Allen wants pressure up the middle, you
Yeah.
know. Now he wants his guys to get pressure, off the edge. Of course, I think every coach does, but the type of guys he's picked as far as the personnel is concerned, it just doesn't work out that way, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I'm not. I promise you, man. I love a sack like the just as much as the next guy, but
Yeah.
you gotta understand, man. It's a stat, and I mean, Sweat was
Yeah.
playing hurt a lot last year. Not making any excuses for the guy. He played hurt a lot. He didn't say it to the end of the year. Who was on the other side of Sweat last year? Exactly, like a rookie. Who started for us on the other side of Sweat? I don't even remember.
We had Walker
Well,
sometimes
it was
and Jones,
Booker.
Booker. Like,
It was
No
a
disrespect. No disrespect to
yeah.
those
no,
guys.
no, no,
Come
no.
on, man.
It was by committee. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But again, when your coaching is not together, man, it's just not gonna look right. It's not gonna be right. Sweat really benefited. When he was in Washington, being around Allen
Mhm.
and the other talented D tackle that he had,
Pain.
Payne. Yeah, you know.
Can I touch on this comment really quick by Vizzo
Go
Joe?
for it.
Mhm.
Thanks, guys. So Vizzo Joe says, I think they should leave Kyler Gordon in the slot. He's a future Pro Bowler, and there's no need to try him at safety. You got to understand one thing by the shifts and the formations. When you see a safety play down on a slot, basically what you have is a nickel out there. That's what you have. You have a nickel, and you got to understand football and X's and O's. I see what you're saying, but that's the whole concept of making something look different, even though it's the same. And he's already got you buffaloed, man. He's gonna be a safety, ultimately a safety playing down in the box, but he's not going to be covering a tight end. He's going to be covering the slot. He's going to be covering the wide receiver. Tight end's going to be on the strong side. He's going to be on the Y side. If he's put in that position, he will then there be a safety, but with the assignment as a slot covering, basically a nickel. So that's all. I know it's not really that complex. It's football, but I'm just saying. I think Vizzo Joe, we're saying the same thing, and
And then
you'll see that. You'll see that.
and then too, it's gonna be designed that Jalen Johnson is attached to the best receiver.
Right.
Mhm.
What happens when that number one receiver lines up in the slot? You want if Jalen Johnson is gonna be trailing this number one receiver
Right.
and he lines up in the slot, then Kyler's gonna have to slide outside. And
Slide
he
out.
has the he has the versatility to do that, and that's what you want in your corners to be able to,
Sure.
play all three spots. You know what I
He's done
mean?
it in Washington. He's did it in high school per his sources that I've talked to.
Yeah, I
And
mean, he's a
he's all
talented guy. He's
yeah.
a talented guy. He's a true corner. He can
Uh-huh.
do it.
Yeah.
Now everybody like, and then listen, the league is a passing league for the most part. These guys come out here with these five wides and stuff like that, and
Oh yeah.
occasionally Kyler is gonna find himself on the outside. We
Yep.
have to know. We have to know that he has the ability to play it just as well as he played the nickel.
Well, and
Not
then when
saying
you're playing quarters man, you actually want a third guy in deep coverage because you're playing man
exactly
responsibility, and then you have to pick up safety. There's no other better person I would like in cover four quarters man when they're going 4-5 wide, like D Nice just talked about. Then, and we'll get into this. I know if I don't have my grease board up here and we're not spitting it and showing it to you, it doesn't make sense. But there is times where you're just not even, dude, you're not even going to realize who the hell's back there anyways. It's going to
right,
happen so fast you won't even catch up on it unless you watch the all 22.
right,
So
and this is another thing people don't realize. The pressure sometimes, well, most times, is just as important as the sack.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to get that ball out that QB's hand and make him throw it out of bounds, make him throw it in the ground, or make him throw a complete pass is just as important as a sack. But it's not really as it's taken for granted.
Right, for
The
sure.
sack is the thing that people love.
Glamorized.
Yeah,
I will say this though, I'm a little knowing that Dennis Allen is going to run more man, and looking back at the history of our DBs, I love Jalen. He gonna hold his business down. I
yeah,
like Kyler, but I'm a little worried about Stevenson and man, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. He's always a step behind in man, from what I've seen. I
yeah.
don't study him every single play, but
hmm
he can get touched up in man. So I'm like, huh, I was like, dang, Dennis Allen is a man guy. So that kind of made my spidey senses go up a little bit, man.
But I'm gonna tell you, Tyreek Stevenson has been spending a lot of time with Al Harris.
Out
Yeah.
Harris for sure.
Yep.
Al
Send him
Harris
to
is
a camp right
Al
when he got in the building.
Al Harris has made it his personal goal to get Tyreek Stevenson on the right page because he has the ability. No one can argue
For
with the
sure. For
ability.
sure.
He just loses sometimes on the mental side.
Hmm.
You know, every corner is going to get beat once in a while,
True. True story.
either for a first down or a touchdown. It's your
Taking harder
ability.
position.
Yeah, it's your ability to bounce back. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
all it takes, a pass breakup, an interception, anything that's going, change. If you can flip the field, that's
Oh man.
great. But if you can force the punter to come out there, that's also awesome. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think Tyreek's gonna be all right.
And I
Okay.
Nothing. Listen, it ain't nothing that good coaching can't fix. If you
no.
ask me.
Good coaching. We go back to that. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah.
And
It's
I'll be
nothing.
and I'll be honest with you. I think Ben Johnson needs to be selfish with his defense and get it as good as he can because it makes his offense that much easier to run because you have a shorter field and less responsibility. It takes pressure off a year or two quarterback and all those guys that are
For
kind
sure.
of meld together. The defense has actually had more time on the field than the offense. The
Yeah.
offense is shape shifting. They're trying to, and I do like what Antoine Randall said when there was guys like Neighbors, there's guys like Harrison. They were all projected above Rome Odunze, and he actually said Rome Odunze was his number one receiver on his
Yeah,
board.
for sure. He did say
He's
that.
excited about him. He's excited
Yeah.
about him. And if he's excited about him, I'm excited about him. And I can't wait
Yeah.
to see
Same.
what happens, man. So,
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely.
And regardless, listen, fellas, regardless of what happens in this draft,
yeah.
we're not going to be able to get everything. You
Right.
know
No,
what I'm saying?
no, God, no.
You know, but we did listen. We got some pieces last year.
Yep.
We're gonna get some pieces this year. Next year, we're gonna get some more. Like we have to build this thing slow.
Mhm.
Like we could come up with all the ideas we like,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, the Bears brass are gonna go in a different direction because they see different. But all we can do is just bear with it, man. You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna
Like we've
make
been doing.
mistakes. They're
Yeah.
gonna make mistakes. The key is that you own your mistakes and you learn from it.
Yeah. And I will say this, I want to touch on Seabury. Says Dahlman, Braxton, Jonah gambling on injury prone guys. Listen, everybody in the NFL is injury prone. Everybody's had injuries by, grade school, playing pee-wee football. They've all had injury. I know a guy who freaking blew his knee out playing flag football, man. It could happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember in Boozer, he tripped over his gym bag. Like, we just signed a huge contract from Utah over to the Bulls, and he tripped over his damn gym bag, and he was out the season. He was coming out of the shower. I'm like, what the hell? So anything can happen at any given point. But NFL, man, not for long. It's any given point. They're all injured, man. They're all injured. You go look at all these guys in the draft. They've all been injured at some point. I love these guys in Dahlman. I love these guys in Jonah. I know they've got what they've got. I'm good with it. I have no problem with this at all. And going into the draft, tell me right now that there's no one else in the NFL that has their cards closer to their chest than freaking Ryan Poles, because I have no idea who the hell he's going to go out in the first round, guys, at all.
Never do we. Nah, me neither.
Even the position, I have no idea. Because he's done so well at fortifying every positional that we need that now he can go get BPA, best player available. He's not going to be one trick pony out of this thing, man.
The 10th pick is not the end all be all.
It's a great pick.
What I'm saying is just the first pick.
Oh yeah,
just for us in the draft.
I agree.
We still got 2 seconds, and I think we got a third.
Well, hey, and let's keep it real, D-Nice. If I go off the rails, you and Annie Up are going to pull me back in, right? Or vice versa, whatever it is, okay? And that's the thing that happened, right? You guys already know I'm going with this. Ryan Poles was in a building by himself. He had no advisors. He's going to go talk to a guy that got in trouble on the internet in Allen Williams and got kicked out of the building and raided by the FBI. He's going to go talk to that guy about the defense. He's going to go talk to Matt Eberflus, who's more worried about his dad bod and his new beard than he is about holding it down and keeping guys accountable. Like, he's really like the offensive. Did you guys want to not just like run through your television like the Kool-Aid guy and be like, why the hell is the offensive line coach still one of the last guys standing? That drove me bananas, dude. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. PTSD, right? But I'm just saying, like, he actually has some real legit advisors in here that we can talk to. Guys in Eric Bieniemy, you go look at him at Trey. What's his name? Trey, the guard from the Chiefs. Help me out, D-Nice.
Trey Smith.
Trey Smith. You go look at him. Who did he thank? Trey Smith gave a lot of recognition and a lot of praise for Eric Bieniemy, making him uncomfortable, for pushing him, for making him, holding him accountable, man. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. He gave Eric Bieniemy all kinds of credit for that. We got those guys in the building this year that when it comes time to go pick a guy, Ryan Poles is going to be like, all right, Ben Johnson, who should we get? We need offensive help. Like, who did he have last year for that?
Right. Good question.
I mean, everyone was excited about the same thing. Yeah, you can say that you wanted, you felt like Poles should have addressed the offensive line a little more, but when Rome was picked at 9, everyone was static.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was the biggest hypocrite in the building. I'll say it right now. I was the biggest hypocrite in the building. I want an offensive lineman, and then we got it. I start looking at this guy. I start looking at highlight reels. I'm like, let's go. Rome was built in a day. Rome was built in a day.
And this is unpopular here, but I'm gonna stand on it.
Yeah.
Even if we did pick an offensive lineman at 9, Caleb still was gonna get sacked a large amount of times.
Oh no, you're right.
He still was gonna get sacked a huge amount of times because the coaching was bad.
Oh, dude, we're running a ball just to run a ball. We're running a ball in the A gap just because we got to run to the inside with the wrong personnel on the wrong side of the field.
Yeah. And the coaching was bad.
And what about
Caleb held on to the ball too long.
the
It was just
Yeah,
a
screen?
lot of factors that led to this
yeah,
bad season, man.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So one offensive lineman wasn't gonna heal that. You
No.
know what I mean? So everybody just needs to relax, man. Just let this thing transpire, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's
That's
it.
all. I mean,
That's
at this point, bro, at this point in the season, excuse me, I was more concerned with the moves that we made pre-draft, which I am totally satisfied with. Now, like you said, let's go BPA.
Mhm.
He got people he can lean on. We know what we need in the building. Those guys know what got a way better beat on it than we do. And I mean, now I get to sit back with a cold one and some wings and
Bro.
root for my guys. So I'm super confident that they're going to make the right pick for the squad and Braxton aside and all those guys aside, the Bears know what they need more than we do. And I feel like we're gonna hit the nail on the head this year. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm always optimistic. I'm a Bears fan. What can I say? But
Bro,
this
you
year though, yeah.
yeah. You kind of threw me for a loop because you started talking wings and now I got hungry, man. I'm sorry.
Bro, I've been hungry all day, bro. And my wife just got home and she peeked her head and I'm like, so maybe she got some food for me. But
Oh, there you go.
regardless, bro,
Yep.
regardless, man, these guys are wait, is the draft Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday,
Thursday.
Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday.
Thursday.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Damn, man. You see, I tried to make it a day sooner. Come on, man.
Where
I'm
you
ready,
going to?
bro.
What are you doing for the draft? Where are you gonna?
Usually, man, who knows? Usually I'll just go to the local B dubs because those guys are in there, like they come in droves, they take off work and everything. But I don't know, man. I might do something exotic this year. I might go to Wrigleyville or something. I don't know, man. I'm still cooking that up, man. I'm still cooking it up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you go. I see you go like everywhere. I follow you on Instagram. Like this guy, guy's all planet.
I'm a
Where
Gemini, bro. I can't sit down. So I can't sit still. This is hard for me to do right now,
it's
bro.
hard? Yeah, you're probably standing like Pat McAfee. Um, doing calisthenics and running in place. And stuff. We just don't see that part. Hey, where's your favorite wing spot?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably Bird's Nest. Bird's Nest is in what the hell is Bird's Nest, bro? It's Look it up. Bird's Nest, bro. They got some really good wings. It's north. It's north. I really like Bird's Nest. Me and my guys going there and they can't it's hard to get us out of that joint. So if I'm doing downtown, I like Melnick's. I don't know. I'm a wing guy, bro. Like
Oh, you're
I'm
way up
listed.
there.
Yeah, I'll eat wings 4 or 5 days a week, man, and then I'll
Yeah.
come back to life. But yeah, I love wings, bro.
I'm I'm watching a girl on there eat the bird's nest wings right now in a black shirt, and she's got a bunch of tattoos on her arms, and she's doing a yeah,
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds
yeah,
about right.
she's doing a little chair dance right now.
Yeah, that's not they get popping in bird's nest, bro.
All right, well, we're about ready to close out the show, so we can let you go. And I know D Nice, he just got in the building, and I'm glad he could pull up. But hey, everybody, I'm sorry we couldn't get to all your comments. You guys are awesome. We love you. Is there anything you guys want to close out with?
Nice, go for it.
Hey man, listen. It's a Friday night. You guys be safe. And for my Bears fans and for the fans of Chicago Sports Podcast, relax.
For sure. Good one. Good one.
Relax.
Good one.
Yeah.
I like relax. And
This
I'm
is
just
this
gonna.
is
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
everything
sorry.
is gonna be all right. Everything is gonna be all right. Just relax. Um, hey, shout out to the chat. Much
Check.
love to y'all. Shout out to you, my man, and welcome.
Thank you,
Hopefully we
sir.
can do more shows.
I'm
I'm
excited
gonna
Track.
be
about
here.
this guy, Andy. And guess what? I got him on Mondays and Wednesdays, so that'll be pair
Locked in.
really well with you, D Nice.
I'm
Right
So
locked
on.
in, man. I'm locked in.
Tracks.
Nice meeting you, D Nice. I appreciate the invite, man. Anything you need, anything y'all need from I'm a DM away, bro. Man, this is therapy for me again, just like my music. So I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all, chat. I love the questions. I love the concerns, comments, everything that y'all got to bring to the table. Like my boy said, just relax. Those guys got it. And let's look forward to a healthy, strong, successful season with a dope staff and some dope players. And I can't wait, man. So until next time.
Yeah, and guess what, Bears Nation? Drop it in the comments. Drop it like it's hot. How do you want to see, or who do you want to see start at left tackle in 2025? Are you riding with Brax, or do you believe in Kiran coming back? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Chicago Sports Podcast for more real talk, no fluff, and straight Bears heat all year long, guys. We're just getting started. This is Bears on Tracks. I'm Brandon Trax Hyatt. That's a slick. I like that hat, man. That's a nice.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
D nice. I'm sure you're wearing something nice there backstage behind the curtain. Like I said, we'll see you guys next time when the next big headline hits in Hallis Hall. Chi-Town up, bear down.